Ναι, ναι, ακούτε.
Comninos. It takes place, of course, at every Final Four for the past 9 years. Now, the most observant of you might have noticed that instead of Mr. Comninos at the start, we have the pleasure of having here with us Mr. Konstantinos Zgouras, the CEO of Sunel Group, which is, of course, the presenting partner of this edition of the Basketball Champions League Final Four, powered by Sunel. Mr. Zgouras, thank you very much for joining us. We'll have the pleasure of having a short presentation by the CEO of the Sunel and founder of the Sunel Group before we continue with the roundtable with Mr. Comninos. Mr. Zgouras, the floor is yours.
Hello, Dimitris. Thanks a lot. So last night, we witnessed a thrilling and emotional evening of basketball. The semifinals remind us why this sport matters so much to so many. The energy, the passion, the sheer quality of play, but also the respect between players, between fans from different countries, capture exactly what Basketball Champions League stands for. And why this tournament is heading towards its end, we all know that this weekend is not just about the trophy. It's about the ecosystem that we create around this game. It's about the spaces that host it, the experience we offer, the legacy we have. This brings us to Sunel Arena, our home for the Final Four. What you experienced last night is only the first glimpse of what this arena is becoming. The transformation is very much still underway. We're renovating in phases, and what you see today is only the beginning. But already, the shift is visible. From the redesigned hospitality suites to the improved entry experience, from the fan zones to the branding that reflects our new vision, Sunel Arena is evolving into something much more than a sports venue. Our goal is not just to rebuild a stadium. We want to create a living destination, a space that brings together sport, education, culture, and innovation, a place where families can return again and again for events and go beyond the game. We're planning the creation of edutainment parks around the perimeter of the arena, theme zones where children and adults can explore, learn, play, and grow. From ancient Greek theme to science, technology, to adventure and movement, we want to build experiences that turn Sunel Arena into a year-round family destination. This is a venue for elite athletes, but also for communities, for families, for next generation. Earlier this week, we officially launched the Green Alliance. The Green Alliance is a new initiative powered by Sunel Group that brings together an ecosystem of companies with one shared goal: to help arenas and public venues to go green. Cleaner, smarter, more efficient, more inclusive. We want to help modern venues reduce their carbon footprint, increase energy performance, and serve their communities better. This includes installing solar PV systems for clean energy production, integrating battery energy storage solutions, upgrading infrastructure for energy efficiency, and embedding sustainability in design, operations, and guest experience. But we know that this can't be done alone. To transform areas sustainably, we need to bring the right people together. We need an ecosystem. That's why The Green Alliance was built as a network of trusted partners, world-leading companies who not only bring technical expertise, but also share the same values: collaboration, integrity, innovation, and long-term thinking. The founding members of the Green Alliance include NRS and Renven, two trusted experts in design, engineering, and implementation of energy solutions. TW Solar, among the lead global manufacturers for PV panels. TBA, global provider of inverter and battery storage systems. Mevaco, leader in infrastructure of metal solutions. LVF, which specializes in custom electrical manufacturing of medium voltage equipment. New Alert for industrial automation and cybersecurity, and Dimulas, a lead supplier for special cables. Together, we bring all the capabilities needed to support venue transformation from start to finish. Our goal is not only to serve one arena, it's to set a new standard. Our initial commitment is to install renewable systems of up to 1,000 megawatts, which is sufficient for 400 to 500 venues like Sunel Arena. I guess you can imagine the scale. With the launch of the Green Alliance, we are not simply supporting a cause. We're creating a working model, one that any club, city, or country can use to bring their infrastructure into a sustainable future. We want to create arenas that are powered by clean energy, supported by smart systems, designed for people, not just performance, and also operated with purpose and transparency. So, Sunel Arena is the first example, a real-world demonstration what sustainable transformation can look like when purpose meets partnership. But it won't be the last. Across Europe and beyond, there are hundreds of venues facing similar challenges and untapped opportunities. Our vision is to take the lessons, tools, and trust built here and apply them in cities and communities that are ready to act. This is a completely scalable model, and we openly invite others to join us: clubs, municipalities, federations, private and public stakeholders who share the belief that progress must be sustainable and that sustainability must be collaborative. To our Green Alliance partners, thank you. Your expertise, your belief, and your commitment make this real. To our collaborators and stakeholders in sport, construction, and government, we welcome you. This platform is open. The challenge is shared. To the Basketball Champions League, thank you for supporting us this launch and for your vision of what sport can unlock. And to the media, thank you for helping us tell the full story, not just of a tournament, but of a transformation. Tomorrow, a new champion will be crowned on this court, but as of today, a new path has already begun. One that will outlast this weekend and redefine what arenas can offer to cities, communities, and future generations. The Green Alliance is not a symbolic gesture. It's a call to action and a platform to act. It's a new way of thinking about how we power public spaces, how we manage energy, how we align sport with sustainability, and how we embed innovation where it matters most, in infrastructure that serves people. We do not expect this transformation to happen overnight, but we know it cannot happen in isolation. That is why we are building this alliance. That is why we're inviting others in. And that is why we're proud that this step takes place here, during one of the most prestigious sports events in Europe. Let this be the beginning of a new chapter, one where energy and experience meet, one where arenas become symbols of not just competition, but of progress. The Korean Alliance is here, and this is just the beginning. We're proud to make this step, and even prouder to make it with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Sigouras, thank you very much for providing us with this very useful info on the presenting partner of the Basketball Champions League Final Four. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back very shortly with Patrick Comninos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very soon means really soon, as you can see here. We are under time constraints.
So we can now commence with a customary roundtable, media roundtable with Mr. Comninos. We are a bit limited for time this time around, so we will have a short intro from Mr. Comninos, and then I would like the members of the media to please keep it short and to the point when it comes to the questions. Mr. Comninos.
Good afternoon from my side. Firstly, I wanted to also thank Mr. Sigouras and the entire Sunel family. And family is both metaphorical but also real, because it is a family company. It is the first time we're having a presenting partner for our competition, and I think that is also testament to the good collaboration we have with Sunel, especially on the level of our host, but also for us, as I said, first time we've been able to reach such a collaboration. And this has been especially difficult in a year where we've had probably the least amount of time to prepare our Final Four. Many of you have been in this room or in this round table in the past, and you know how I always wish that we could have the host announced well in advance. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. And this year was especially tough because we had moved the date relatively early to cater to what we had been trying for a long time, to have the event in Paris and in the Adidas Arena. But unfortunately, the political situation in France did not make that possible. So then we had to navigate in the winner of the Parisian team versus AEK. The series went to a third game. So paradoxically, we knew the other three participants to the Final Four, but we only learned our host at the very last minute. So all that to say that it has been a very difficult and challenging Final Four. So from my side, I say this every morning when I meet the BCL team. I'm very proud to lead this BCL team that delivers at such a high level in such a short time. And once again, my wish will be that next year, our 10th anniversary of the Basketball Champions League, that we are in a position to announce the host much, much earlier. But don't quote me on that, because we always go through this exercise. I make this wish, and the genie doesn't show up. So let's see what happens for next year. But today is the opportunity to have this exchange. We are on a relatively short time frame. We need to finish by 2:30 because we need to return this wonderful space back to the management, as there is a theater piece tonight. So I will not go on in a lengthy introduction. I will allow for questions that I'm sure will capture most of what everybody wants to discuss or wants to hear. I will say that for us as Basketball Champions League, concluding our 9th season, 2 games left, it's been another welcoming experience. The competition still grows. We have passed our teething problems. We have moved now into young adulthood, and we continue in our mission to grow. You've all heard my statements about creating a pan-European competition that is inclusive, but has as part of its DNA to shape the European basketball landscape. And this is something we have been also working on over the last years with our partners, both at the EuroLeague and at the NBA. The aim, again, being to trying to deliver something to the wider audience of basketball, an audience that we acknowledge as being significant, although the commercial exploitation or commercialization of this product is not at the level we all would like it to be. So this has been going on in parallel with delivering a top-level competition, and we're very excited about what's coming up next. We are turning 10 years old. On the 2nd of July, we have our draw at the Olympic Museum in Lausanne as part of our celebratory 10th season. We recognize this and try to celebrate it in a special juncture. So we are finishing season 9, but we are already looking ahead into season 10. And it is with this short intro that I'm very happy to take on questions. I guess there will be some. And Dimi, I let you monitor this, and always happy to answer anything.
Thank you very much, Mr. Comninos. Please raise your hand. We'll now open the floor to questions, and just be a little bit patient because it might be a little bit difficult to get the microphone to you in this beautiful theater. The space is a bit limited. Let's start with the gentleman over there on the far left. Microphone will reach your hands in just a few seconds.
Hello, Mr. Comninos. José Ramón Alba for Atebas RCB and Piratas del Basket. With the last news of Alba joining competition and Valencia rumored to try to do it in the path for future NBA Europe, which is the future of the BCL in the European stage?
Straight to the heart of the question. Good. Look, as I said, we are working on two parallel paths. One is to continue to grow the Basketball Champions League the way we have been doing since 2016 when we started the competition. But at the same time, be part of these discussions about shaping the landscape. And we are privileged to be at this table with our partners from the EuroLeague and from the NBA. This is something that reflects the credibility of our competition and the role that FIBA has to play as the world governing body of basketball. So we are at this table. We've been at this table. We initiated the discussions for this table more than, it was after the Tokyo Olympics, September 21, so almost 3.5 years ago. And our aim is to develop a sport environment, a sport ecosystem that caters to the needs not just of the handful of clubs. You've heard me say this 100 times. Basketball is not played by a dozen clubs in Europe. Basketball is played by hundreds of clubs in Europe. So our mission is to create an ecosystem that caters to the needs of all these clubs, to have the opportunity for them to play at the top level, to be rewarded for playing at the top level, and for offering their fans the sort of entertainment value that basketball should generate in Europe. It is, without a doubt, the #2 most popular sport in our continent, but it lacks greatly, not just the #1, but behind sports like handball or ice hockey or rugby, which do not have the popularity, but they have been able to develop a commercial mechanism that allows them to develop their product differently. So I think this is our focus. As I said, two parallel paths: continue to grow the Basketball Champions League, but be in the room where it all happens, so that we can help deliver this product.
Thank you, Mr. Comninos. We'll now take a question from Malaga. On this side here, please.
Hello, Mr. Comninos. Juan Calderón from Sur Newspaper. Nice to see you again in this part of the world. I will try to explain me. We don't know what is going to happen if in that discussion that you are talking about the NBA between the Euroleague and the BCL, all the tournaments in Europe, will disappear the BCL, will transform in another competition? What will happen? Will be another a second competition that could be the BCL? Try to explain us which is going to happen in the next 2 years or in the next year. Thank you.
No, very logical question. The BCL will not disappear. This is one thing we can say for certain. The BCL will continue to develop and will continue to play a pivotal role in this new ecosystem. But develop is, I think, the key word. We've been doing this within our community over the last 9 years. We have been regularly developing, growing, adapting, adjusting, and we will continue to do this in what we believe will be a new ecosystem. We will continue to represent the entirety of European basketball. Don't forget that shareholders of the BCL, among others, are the domestic leagues. This has been the case from the start, from the inception of the Basketball Champions League. We have leagues or federations that organize the league that are shareholders of the Basketball Champions League. So we need to recognize their needs. We need to cater to the rights and the needs of those clubs. And that means to safeguard that there is an open enough system that allows teams to dream of making it to the very top, recognizing that this is the only way to create investment, to attract investment. Teams or individuals that invest in them need to have the opportunity to dream of playing in a very, very high level of competition. So the BCL will always do that. And from our side, and I think that this is a very important statement to recognize, is that in all our discussions, whether these are with the EuroLeague or whether these are with the NBA, we have been very consistent and uniform in our approach. What we have always said is we need to protect the domestic leagues, we need to protect the national teams, and we need to safeguard open access to all the teams. This discussion did not develop as we would have hoped at the time with the EuroLeague. Things have ensued. Now there are discussions that also include the NBA, but for us, the messaging has always been the same, protecting the domestic leagues, protecting the national teams, and offering to a wider network of clubs the opportunity to participate at the very top. Regardless of what happens in the future, one thing is for sure, that the BCL will remain, our ecosystem will continue to grow, media interest, commercial interest will certainly increase, so I can only predict better and brighter days ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Comninos. Mr. Chaltas, the gentleman here in the black shirt.
Hello, thank you for your time. Mr. Comninos, one question. We saw that more and more teams have shown interest to join Basketball Champions League and FIBA Basketball. Alba Berlin will compete in next season. What has it shown about the credibility of the competition and what you have to bring to the table for the teams?
I think over the last years, we have seen a lot of teams make this quote-unquote transfer into the BCL competition and into our family. Tomorrow, in the final, we have two teams that not so long ago used to compete in the EuroLeague. We're traditionally aiming to compete in the EuroLeague. Both Unicaja, Malaga, and Galatasaray have made this transition, and I think they are benefiting from the concept that we have put in place. And if I can look to answer that question on two layers. One is, what does the BCL offer? and the other would be what does the FIBA family offer, if I can distinguish these two. When it comes to the BCL, I think we offer a very competitive competition system that, especially in some of the more demanding domestic leagues, it suits these needs very well. We see how teams like Laguna Tenerife or Unicaja Malaga are performing in their domestic league and in the European competition in parallel at a very high level in both. Unicaja Malaga has won 5 titles in the last years, performing at a very high standard. And this, they've acknowledged this. This is, among others, due to the fact that our ecosystem provides a competition environment that allows them to balance both domestic and international competitions. And you've heard me say this many times. For us, we do not antagonize the domestic leagues. We want the domestic leagues to be strong. We want them to be consistent. We want them to produce not just good teams, but great players. This is our development program, the domestic leagues. So we need to safeguard that, not just because the leagues are our shareholders, but because institutionally this is the role of FIBA to develop our wonderful sport. So I believe that teams like Malaga or Galata and now Alba Berlin, they do recognize this. They do recognize that by participating in our competition, there are a lot of benefits, both on and off the court. And this is why I believe they're making this switch. This is the first layer, and that is the participation in the Basketball Champions League. When it comes now to the wider environment, I think everybody recognizes that we are embracing this new change. As Basketball Champions League and as FIBA, we are leading this change. We are spearheading these discussions, and we are always aiming at developing an environment that gives these clubs the best opportunity. And I think, like in the past, and I quote again Unicaja or Galatasaray or teams like Ritas that made the switch, they see that the trajectory that we are developing is one where they're embraced both by the BCL family and by the FIBA family. And FIBA does offer much more than participation and access to the Basketball Champions League. It offers this wider network, directly or indirectly, with our key partners, and that does include the entire basketball community. So I think that this is what they see, this is what they anticipate, and hopefully this is what they will receive by being members of our community.
Thank you. We had 2 questions from Spanish media, 1 from Greek. So the next question from Turkish media.
Hello, Mr. Comninos. Thank you for having us. I want to ask you about the financial stability BCL brings to the clubs that they are competing in the BCL. Recently, Galatasaray's head coach and the general manager said that BCL helped them a lot and they brought financial stability to the club, and the award money also is helping the clubs. After 9 years, how do you see BCL continues to help the clubs in financial stability?
This goes back to the previous question. Thank you, Sevcen. To the issue about what does the BCL offer on the first dimension, the first layer, and that is these financial rewards. Tomorrow's winner will earn. We need to see at the exact number of victories, but around 1 million euros. And this is a significant amount for these teams. It covers a considerable part of their budget. And I think that what you're referring to, the statements from the coach and the GM of Galata, is exactly to this point, that participating in the Basketball Champions League, we recognize that the teams that go a long way, that reach the pinnacle of the competition, should be well rewarded. And that, I think, is what we're trying to do. Looking into the future, the question more directly, We anticipate that this can only get better. We hope that in this new ecosystem, with a commercial approach that is a lot more focused and results-driven, it will allow us to generate even more revenue for our teams and offer them even better financial conditions. This is one of the reasons we are having these discussions with the NBA, among many others. We recognize the NBA's ability to deliver on the commercial front. This is one of the many things they do extremely well. And we hope that with their assistance, the entire ecosystem will finally be able to generate the revenue, tap into this untapped potential. All the indexes that we have seen talk about a demographic constituency that is high earners, high spenders, enjoy entertainment, are willing to pay to watch basketball. So we need to capture that. Right now, we are in Greece, but it does remain a paradox that Greece right now probably has one of the best commercial agreements when it comes to top-level basketball in Europe. And although, keeping my Greek hat on, this is significant, but it's the only sport, I believe, where the Greek market is among the best markets commercially. We need to tap into the German market, the French market, the UK market, the Italian market, the Spanish market, markets that we all recognize have commercial validity. And we need to capture an audience that is hungry for top-level basketball, but combined, all of us have not been able to offer this at a commercially high level. Because on the court, no question, the product is of a very high level. All the competitions, whether it's EuroLeague, BCL, Eurocup, even FIBA Europe Cup, what we see on the court is impressive. What we see end-of-year P&L is not. Neither for our clubs, especially we see the numbers of the EuroLeague teams and the collective losses that they incur every year, but for the entire ecosystem. It does not make sense that we cannot capture that. So part of our mission is to work with experts that can support this. So to answer your point directly, we expect and we hope that in the future, the BCL will be able to support even more handsomely these, what I call mid-tier clubs who aim at performing at a very high level in the European competition. But, and this is important, we also want them to be very, very competitive at the domestic leagues.
Thank you. We have time for maybe one or two more questions. Yes, the gentleman here with the laptop.
Hello, Mr. Comninos. Thank you for being here. For the first time since 2019, we had not only one, but two Italian teams in the quarterfinals, Bertam de Trona Basket and Pallacanestro Reggiana. Considering, this great result and considering the growth, especially of Dortona and Reggiana as well, when it comes to their club, what does that speak to these clubs, to what they do for the BCL and what the BCL does for them? Thank you.
No, I think the last point is indicative what we do for the clubs and what the clubs do for us. I think this encapsulates the point that this is a very bilateral, dynamic relationship. We hope that we offer a lot to the clubs, and the clubs, with their participation, with their fan base, with their arenas, with their brands, they deliver a lot to the BCL. Now, speaking more specifically about Italy, it is true, and I think the wider basketball community is pleased to see Italian teams perform very well this year. As you mentioned, two teams in the quarterfinals. But as you also know, and this is part of our transparency, this is part of the way we encourage clubs to perform well in the BCL, we have this very analytical mathematical formula where the teams collect points that then represent the collective points and ranking of each country. And we work this on a 3-year basis. So yes, Italian teams have done exceptionally well this year, but we should not forget that unfortunately for Italian basketball, the previous seasons were not as successful. If I'm not wrong, we didn't have Italian teams go beyond the regular season. So when we look at the overall analysis, Italy still is in a very good ranking to have teams in the BCL, but hopefully this will improve in the future. And if they have another good season, then 2 out of the 3 seasons are very good. Right now, 1 out of the 3 seasons are good. So we are having these discussions with Lega Basket. As you know, Umberto Gandini, the president, is also a good personal friend and a supporter of the BCL. So we will have these discussions as we move forward to see exactly what this means for Italian clubs for the upcoming 10th season of the BCL.
Thank you. We have time for one more question. Gentleman there.
We finished 2:30, right? 2:25. So Dim is very strict, but
I will be short then. Hello, Mr. Comninos. Aris Barkas from Eurohoops and from Cosmote TV. You used the word partner to describe your relationship with the EuroLeague, and also you mentioned the FIBA Europe Cup. Considering also your background from UEFA, first of all, do you agree that 5 continental competitions and probably 6 in the near future is too much? And what will be your ideal vision and proposal for the future of club basketball in the top level of Europe?
No, thank you. Also, thank you to Cosmote as our partner, since we like this word, for this event. I was at the arena, so I have not seen the TV images, but all I hear is very positive. So thank you to our HB here in Greece. I would be lying and I would be very hypocritical if I didn't recognize that we have a lot of club competitions. You've heard me in the past say that 4 competitions is probably 2 competitions too many. So I could not suddenly advocate 5 or 6 competitions. And I believe through our discussions, through our collective discussions with the entire community of basketball, we will reach a consensus about what the ideal structure is. And because I don't like to hide, for me, there should be 2 very strong competitions. Let's call them a tier 1 and a tier 2. Probably around 50 teams. Let's not count numbers, but an environment that could absorb what is today's EuroLeague, EuroCup, and BCL, and perhaps new teams that will emerge in this environment. And that should be a very, very strong ecosystem of leagues that have the opportunity to be linked together. This, as you know, has been part of our demand within our discussions with the EuroLeague, going all the way back to some of our legal challenges with the EuroLeague, how we felt that for the BCL, access should have been offered equal footing as the EuroCup. This has been part of our legal, let's say, approach, but being more practical, I think these 2 leagues should communicate with each other, should offer access, and in addition to this, access should be offered to the domestic leagues. This is another one of our demands. So if you were to ask me on a blank sheet how I would draw this, I would say a top tier, a second tier, with vertical movement, but also with the opportunity for teams that perform well at the domestic league to also have an equal chance. This is the only way we can grow our sport. And you did mention my background. My background does not only respond to how many competitions should be, but it also responds to allowing access. If there's one thing that UEFA has done very well over the last 30 years and has built a product that now generates close to 6 billion euros per year, median commercial revenue, I repeat, 6 billion compared to the 100 million of basketball, just to put things into perspective, is that they have given the chance to everyone. They have opened up the pool of opportunities, and that has allowed investment, it has allowed interest, it has allowed commercial partners to really embrace this product. We do recognize that the environment in Europe needs to be somewhat hybrid. So we do recognize that it's very difficult to have an entirely open system. So we are discussing a semi-open environment. Same discussions we've had with the EuroLeague, same discussions we've had with the NBA. Our approach is we accept a semi-open environment at the very top, and the opportunity for teams that play in the second tier or that play in the domestic league to also have the chance to qualify and reap the benefits in that top tier. And the last part, I think, is equally important. One of the problems that we see in the current ecosystem is that the teams that advance to the top tier are not treated the same way as the teams that have a license in the top tier. And we don't think that this is conducive to investment. We don't think that this is a way for teams to have a business plan when they enter a competition and they do not have financial gains from it, direct financial gains from the central competition. So this is another point we've always tried to acknowledge and to safeguard. As I said, we are the guardians of the middle class of basketball. And we want to make sure that these clubs do receive significant revenue, and very, very important for us, the gap between the top and the middle class does not grow. And we are here in Greece. Those of you that do follow the Greek league, you will recognize that over the last 20 plus years, with the exception of the one season when Olympiacos played in the second division, every final is between Olympiacos and Panathinaikos. This is not the ideal way to grow a product or to commercialize a product. We need to make sure, and again, I'm speaking in my home country, that teams like AEK, like Aris, like PAOK, big brands that have a big following, do have the relevant opportunity, investment opportunity, so that they can go and compete at the highest level in a European environment, but also come back and remain competitive in the domestic league. This is the only way to grow the domestic league. And I think football, going back to the analogy, is achieved that because it does offer a number of teams that start the competition in September the opportunity, if they deliver and they perform well, to go and be financially vibrant, let's say, the following season.
Thank you. So unless there is a question at the buzzer, which I don't think there is, we have a few minutes, 6 minutes by my count, for a closing statement.
No, from my side, I think we captured everything, Dimi. I want to thank you all for making the journey. I hope you will all attend tomorrow's final. We need people on their seats for tomorrow's game. We do recognize that we are in an environment where emotion drives attendance, and it is a fact. Perhaps this is part of the wider problem in European basketball, that we look at markets, or the markets where emotion drives are the most commercially vibrant ones, and the market where entertainment and experience plays a pivotal role are not put in the forefront. And tomorrow's final is a demonstration of this. We are in a part of Europe where, unless our team participates, we do not manage to go to the venue. For us, this is indicative of the problems in European basketball, that we are still aiming at the audience that recognizes results and brand, and not the quality that is on the court. Tomorrow's final is probably among includes two of arguably the best teams in Europe, outside the teams that play in the EuroLeague. It should be a great game with some players that will for sure go on to bigger and greater stages. And I take this opportunity to invite fans to come to tomorrow's game, because you don't get a chance to see this level of games every day. We are in an environment that is spoiled. Olympiacos and Panathinaikos do play at the highest level. They do welcome some of the best teams, but this does not negate the fact that tomorrow we have a great opportunity to witness another great final for us in the Basketball Champions League, and to make another step in delivering a Final Four of the highest quality. And those of you that have been in Sunel Arena over the last days, you've seen the transformation. Opportunity for me to close my introduction, and once again thanks our partners in Sunel for their contribution in the entire look and feel that we've put in the arena, and it is unrecognizable, and that should generate interest and engagement. When we speak internally about one of our highlights in the Basketball Champions League, we all revert back to Antwerp in 2019, when the local team was not in the final, but 17,000 people were. Different level of hunger, different level of spoiledness there, but it should not take away from the efforts that the two teams are doing tomorrow to put on this great show, and from the effort we are all doing to deliver it. So looking forward to seeing all of you tomorrow, and hopefully it will be a great game to close out Season 9.
Thank you. This concludes the Media Roundtable with the Basketball Champions League Patrick Comninos from Athens. A big thanks to the media who attended the event, and thank you all those who followed the event on YouTube. Bye-bye from Athens.